for people to join. But since we're starting, I have like the starting things that I have to say. So welcome to the third and final Distill 2014 Speaker Hangout. Today we're hanging out with Amy Wibowo of Airbnb and Ron Evans of Hybrid Group. We're going to talk to them about Distill, their talks, and other things that come up as they come up. I do have to say that, like everything Engine Yard does, including Distill, this Hangout is governed by our anti-harassment policy, so everybody be cool to each other, and we should all get along just fine. All right, so that's the official part. I know people signed up for this event, but these Hangouts tended, like, the first 5 minutes will be us waiting for people to show up, which is fairly normal. So don't take it personally. It's never a big deal. But I guess I will start.
You got.
What's that? It's all about being fashionably late. I know, but people, Ron, you know, you've known me for a long time. You know, people never show up at my events on time. Except me.
No, it's either early or late, but never actually on time.
I am terminally early. But, okay, so while we're waiting for people, why don't you guys introduce yourselves, since you know a lot more about you than I do. We'll do it. Amy, do you want to go first?
Sure. So I'm an engineer on the growth team at Airbnb. Right now we're focusing on international growth, so we're doing a lot of user research in Asia to see how people in Asia travel differently and make the website better for them. Before working at Airbnb, I worked at Honda Research Institute in Tokyo and at the University of Tokyo on a Japanese National Science Foundation grant doing user human-computer interaction research. So outside of work, I do a lot of art and biking, and I care a lot about the intersection of art and biking.
All right. Very cool. Ron, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Ron Evans, aka Dead Program on Twitter. I'm the ringleader of the Hybrid Group. We're a software development company based in Los Angeles and San Francisco. And we, among many other things, are the creators of Kids Ruby, which is a free and open source project to teach kids programming.
I may have heard of that.
Indeed. Your daughter made me cry when she gave the keynote about using Kids Ruby at RubyConf last year. I'm not sure how anybody could ever top that. It was really impressive.
Yeah,
you're obviously a much better dad than I am, first of all.
Well, no, not at all. She's just a better kid than most kids. It has nothing to do with me. But yeah, no, Kids Ruby is a very cool thing, but not what you're going to be talking about this year. And Ron, I think, and Davey's joined us now, so Davey can correct me if I'm wrong. Davey's my partner on the community team here at Engine Yard. Ron is our only return speaker, is that correct?
That is absolutely correct.
So,
wow. I'm honored.
Earlier we did have an interview with Andre Arco, who was the first person who had attended last year and became a speaker this year, which I guess is a step in the right direction. But you're our first ever return speaker. So what are you going to be speaking about, Ron? I'll just go back and forth with these questions. There.
Sure. So this year, I'm going to be speaking about the 10 rules of robot ops. So if you haven't heard of robot ops, you're not alone. It's a new idea that we and many of us in the open source hardware community are trying to develop. And it takes a lot of the same ideas that have been called DevOps for people who develop web applications. You know, I would call it the collection of the practices and the patterns and the different techniques that are necessary to build applications that use robots and internet-connected devices, things like sensors and satellites, internet-connected blenders and toasters, and automobiles, and all those other interesting light bulbs.
Is this an extension of the three laws of robotic? You know, don't harm a human and whatnot, or?
Can we get into the argument? There's actually four. There's 4 laws of robotics. You want to do this? Because we can do this.
Well, there's N laws of robotics for sure. That part everyone can agree on.
But Asimov had 4 laws. There was the 3 laws that everybody knows about, and then in Robots and Empire he introduced the concept of the zeroth law, which was that a robot cannot harm humanity through action or inaction, and therefore humanity as the greater sense was more important than individual humans. I just read that a few months ago.
Robots.
I think.
We believe that
might have been 2 years ago.
You know, the problem with Asimov's laws have to do with sort of a lack of pathology when robots are infinitely subservient to humans, and if we successfully do what Ray Kurzweil believes and create a conscious species more intelligent than ourselves, isn't it somewhat horrible to enslave them to our own base desires?
Okay, I could see the point of that. But let's worry about that.
That might be fun.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. All right, so let me switch over to Amy. Amy also has a very hardware-oriented talk that she's giving. So Amy, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're talking about?
Sure. So my talk is based on a hackathon project that we did last December at Airbnb. I'm always interested in ways to combine technology and art. And for that project, we hacked a knitting machine from the 1980s to print photos that we sent to it from a computer, so it became basically a yarn printer.
Now, I feel like a little bit like I'm cheating because I have seen you give this talk, I think at least 2 times, maybe 3 now. So I have a little bit of an upper hand, but will you be bringing samples of what you made with the knitting machine?
Definitely. So we had a lot of fun printing memes with this machine. So we have like a yarn grumpy cat, a yarn doge, yarn dinosaurs, and lots of yarn art. Which
is very cool. And I know you talked about it. Has there been any attempts to make like the next steps, which is to kind of automate the actual, because it's a very physical process with the knitting machine. Even though you're not knitting, you're still doing a lot of moving back and forth, and it's very physical. Has there been any like forward movement on automating some of the parts there?
There hasn't been. A couple of people have pointed me to like similar projects where people tried to introduce a robotic arm into the knitting machine. So I'm going to look into those, but haven't implemented.
Right on. Very cool. So I think it's interesting because I don't think I inadvertently planned that the 2 of you would both have robotics-related talks or hardware integration-related talks, and then I put both of you on the same Hangout, which is just kind of bizarre. But I guess that's my luck of the draw. Let me ask this. Now, Ron, you've had experience with this. Let me ask Amy first. What are you most looking forward to seeing at Distill?
What am I looking for? Oh.
Sorry, Ron, would you mind? Oh, never mind, he did it.
Yeah, Ron got muted. He's feeding back quite heavily.
A lot of people have told me that it was one of the most diverse conferences that they've been to, and I'm super excited about the speaker lineup, and it's like a really good variety of topics. So, yeah, I'm super excited to hear everyone.
Yeah, I think the funny thing there is we have all of this diversity of topics and all this. I mean, like, I hate to use the word polyglot because it goes kind of beyond the idea of polyglot. It's not even just about languages or specifically development. There's so much more there. And then I get you guys on a call and you're talking about very similar things. But I know there's a lot that, well, of course I know. I'm helping to plan the thing. But Ron, give us, like, what was your favorite part of last year? And then what are you looking forward to most this year as well?
Well, I really enjoyed the mixture of concepts. I mean, you had everything from Nolan Bushnell, who is a real hero to many people as far as, one of the progenitors of modern technology in entertainment as we know it, all the way to, just the people who attended. I was really impressed to hear the report from Rails Girls Summer of Code, actually. So we had a gigantic, it really spoke to the idea of community to me, which means
I think we're losing you, Ron. I do not know what's happening right now.
Actually a robot and his batteries are dying.
I often wondered that. I don't think you can hear us either. It wouldn't truly be. I don't think you can hear us. PJ Distill.
I believe the Klingons are jamming our transmissions.
I thought we had an agreement with them.
Is that any better now?
That is much better. So we got the Nolan
but it was really I was just trying to say. I was just saying that it was the.
This is kind of amazing in the fact that we get all the qualifiers
Summer Code content.
So yeah, Ron, we're hearing. So yeah, what I was saying.
It's Google.
So let me give you a break, since it's got to be hard to talk like that. Paulo has joined us. Paulo, do you have any questions, perhaps, that you might want to throw to either of the speakers? Paulo, do you have any questions, perhaps, that you might want to throw to either of the speakers? Apparently not. He might be stuck too. That's awesome. Doesn't seem to be moving.
I just I put a link in the chat to the NES or NES.
I'm going to try a quick reboot. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Knitting machine. I don't know if people saw this. It was an unreleased add-on to the NES that was a knitting machine.
See, that's the funny part there, Davey, is the benefit of having seen Amy's talk is I knew that she was going to say exactly what she just said. So you need to go to more Ruby conferences.
I'm working on it.
Let's see, what other questions can I ask? Did you guys know it's Batman Day?
Today? Is it just because every day is Batman Day?
Well, every day is Batman Day for me, but no, it's actually the 75th anniversary of Batman Day. And I would think that especially someone who works on hardware and robots like gadgetry in general, you have to appreciate Batman. Am I way off?
I definitely do. Batman was my favorite Saturday morning cartoon when I was a kid. I used to watch it every Saturday, which really surprised my parents because I was like really girly and like always wore pink dresses and stuff, and then I watched Batman.
Was that the dark animated series?
Yeah,
That was my favorite. I think that's the best animated Batman they've ever had.
I would agree with that statement. I think as far as all the shows went, that was the best Batman. Although I do like him in Young Justice, which is really about like the Teen Titans, but like he's this dark, brooding. So like they're always like, Batman's giving us the crap again. And he's like, I give you the crap because I want to make you better. And it's just like he's an awesome Batman, and he's actually played by I can't remember the guy's name, but he played the captain that influenced Kirk to join Starfleet in the new Star Trek movies, who then didn't make it through the second Star Trek movie. I hope I didn't ruin that for everybody. But
yeah.
And that was like the worst reference I've ever made.
I actually liked Batman Beyond as well, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Not really Batman.
now.
Adam West.
Adam West.
Never. Back when Batman was fun. Back when superheroes didn't try to take themselves seriously. You weren't trying to make Schindler's List. You were just trying to make, a guy in tights beating people up who were bad guys. And notice I say mostly guys.
No, yeah. It was a simpler world.
Not everything was quite as wonderful back then,
Well, I mean, back then you didn't even have, the dichotomy of Catwoman. How does she work? Is she good? Is she bad? She seems to be somewhere on the edge. You didn't have that. It was she was a bad guy, for lack of a better term. She was a villain. And then in later Batmans, they're we should probably develop a plot.
That was back when villains were villainesses if they were Eartha Kitt, I think.
Yes. Villain. Is villainess a word?
I don't feel like it is.
Although I think I have to say that I'm going to have to call baloney on Amy's statement that Batman was her favorite cartoon only because of her Twitter handle, which is also makes you my daughter's favorite person on Twitter. Because Amy is a self-ascribed Sailor Scout, making her favorite heroes Sailor Moon and the Sailor Scouts, who are also very inventive, and out of all of them, probably Sailor Mercury would be the most Batman-esque of the Sailor Scouts.
That was a different era in my cartoon timeline. That was
See, I have a hard time because I'm a little bit older, and so it was what my stepdaughter watched.
Batman jumped the shark.
Batman did eventually jump the shark.
Batman jumped the shark before Fonzie jumped the shark. Actually, he punched the shark in the Batman movie from the 60s.
Oh, yeah, he did. He totally beat up a shark.
He punched a shark. Batman punched a shark in the 60s. That's how brutal.
That's how tough Batman is.
So, that was pretty tough. I don't know if Batman's gotten softer. I think
I don't think he fights sharks as much.
Anymore.
Yeah. All right, I should probably bring this back to something Distill related because that's my job. Okay, so
I was trying to say before, just to hopefully finish that idea. Distill was great because it had such a wide range of different people at different points of age and experience and perspective. From Nolan, who was sort of the, grandfather of interactive entertainment for a lot of people, a lot of us. All the way to the Rails Girls Summer of Code presenting, the really important work that they actually were doing. So it just showed it's not about, your so-called role in the community. It's about the role that you take upon yourself of saying, hey, I want to contribute something. And that was a great thing about Distill is that it, brought a lot of people who wanted to participate together.
And that's the thing that I think we don't get when we go to our language-specific conferences. When I go to, my Ruby conferences and Davey here goes to his PHP conferences, what we don't get is the perspective of maybe people that are coming at it from another take. I mean, even having seen both you, Ron, and you, Amy, give presentations at conferences doing things that are so different from, oh, look, I made a mobile app, or, oh, look, I made a web app. No, we're integrating with hardware, and it's kind of mind-blowing in a way to see people doing things that are so outside of what the last 15 years of development are supposed to have been. And I think that Distill tries to take that a step further by bringing everybody into the same room and saying, hey, all right, everything is going on, and we're going to talk about all of it.
Even though actually Amy and I are just trying to cause as much problem with the Luddites as possible, and I mean that in a literal sense. Robotic knitting machines, everyone is really mad right now.
What I would like to see is I'd like to see Amy automate the machine to have useful legs to go down. You know how they yarn bomb light poles and stuff? Make the machine do it, and then everybody be like, why is there an entire light pole of friggin' Grumpy Cat in the middle of 3rd Street and Market? And people be like, we'll never know. It was Amy. I think that would be awesome. I think that's a life goal. I know I couldn't
I
do
think
it.
robots knitting sweaters for robots knitting sweaters is, quite appropriate.
That's super meta.
Robots
If you could,
making sweaters for robots eventually.
yes, that's a whole industry. Is the robot clothing revolution? Which I think Asimov actually touched on in the robot novels. Like eventually, they started wearing clothes because they had to look good, or at least fit in or whatever.
If you think about it, it's a lot easier to change your pants than to repaint your legs, right?
It is. I've never tried to repaint my legs, Davey.
Well, I'm just thinking that as far as keeping up with the trends, sure they could look like whatever they want, but like to be able
Wait,
to
does
change
that
it
count with
quickly,
like? What about the people that get like the fake spray tan? Is that like repainting your legs? How often do you have to do that?
I have no idea. I live in
Okay.
Florida. We have an actual sun.
I'm gonna hack together a robot that does nothing but spray tan people in New Jersey. Just walks around. And
I
don't
think
know
there's
if
a
you
Y
like
Combinator already for that.
There's a Y Combinator. there is currently a Kickstarter campaign that makes more than potato salad. But I think, all right, I'm really looking forward to seeing both of you at Distill. And I'm actually going to I'm going to cheat and look at the Distill schedule because I know that you guys are not at the same time because I did that on purpose.
Yes.
I'm a smart guy.
Thursday.
I'm hoping they're on my track. That's what I'm hoping.
They're both on my track. Look at that. What do you know? What are the chances, Davey?
Shocking. It's all recorded. I'll watch
It's
it.
all
after.
recorded, so yeah. But you won't get the glory of introducing them again, and with a much better skill than I did when I ad hoc'd it at the beginning of this thing. But I mean, I have to ask: are you guys getting super excited because it's like 2 weeks away?
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks from It's literally
yeah.
2 weeks from tomorrow.
Well, the
I'm kinda getting
venue,
excited.
the new venue looks amazing.
Yeah.
That just in itself is going to be very inspiring.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm hoping that there's going to be 1 million people there, approximately. I'm not really great with numbers. And that people are going to be just as excited to see you guys as I am. And with that, I think we'll stop
we're
our
bringing
broadcast.
a lot of surprises. We have
are you bringing
a
me-
bunch of people from Hybrid Group are coming up with me, and we're bringing a lot of gear. As usual, our talks are going to be cram full of live hardware demos of... I can't actually tell you all the things that we're going to be doing yet because I don't want to eliminate the element of surprise. But it should be a very exciting series of firsts if we pull it off one way or another. Actually, it'll be a series of firsts.
You have a lot more room this year, I think, right? Peter?
Yeah. Yes.
So-
Quite a bit. Actually, Amy, you're in the same room, and there's plenty of room there. If you want to actually bring the machine in, we could probably make arrangements to do that.
That may be fun. I never did it for other conferences because that would mean like taking this huge machine on a plane.
Yeah.
I'm like a little worried about like the demo gods and it like jamming during a demo, but
Well, you could always just do like here's the machine, here's the video of me using the machine. You can touch the machine later, maybe, if I let you. But I mean, hey, let's look into it. I think that'd be really cool if people could actually be like, wow, this is the actual thing that does the thing.
You should actually knit the Distill logo
oh my god, I should totally do that.
during the
Yeah,
entire
I'll
conference.
do that
I don't know how
before.
long that thing takes, but I'm assuming several
Let's
hours.
not. We don't want Amy to be like sitting in the back and people like, dude, could you knit my name real quick? And he's like, yeah, okay, all right, here we go.
Yeah, that's what happens to the 3D printer people at every conference. They start out like, so we're going to do 3D printing, 3 days later, like, get me out of here.
They're like, I'm out of
I've been here
plastic.
for
I can't do
72
anything.
hours straight, and I've been burned by plastic.
Exactly. My entire left hand is covered in plastic. But very cool. Amy,
guess
send me
to-
an email. I kind of want to make this
The
happen.
machine.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. And on that note, I will stop the broadcast, and we will see everybody in a couple of weeks. And it will be awesome and amazing. And have a happy Distill, everybody.
Thanks, guys.